Hello students, welcome to my online classes. I will be covering subjects in immunology and today is the first introductory class where I will be speaking about the overview and the introduction of immunology, the topics involved in whatever we are going to be studying, the types of immunity, what is immunity to begin with, then what different kinds of vaccinations are available, and so on. So, without further ado, let us begin. So, what is immunology? As you can break the word immunology, immuno is related to immunity and logy is study. So, the study related to immunity is immunology. And the immune system is remarkably versatile. It is a defense system which defends our body against various pathogens, antigens, and even diseases such as cancer. The enormous cells and molecules that are associated with the immune system helps in recognizing and effectively removing all the pathogens and the foreign invaders that causes diseases. These molecules don't act single-handedly because immunology involves a complex and intricate system of cells and molecules that work together in a dynamic network which is similar or which could be compared to the nervous system. The two main factors which deals with immunology is recognition and response. Okay, so recognition is basically based on specificity, and it recognizes the subtle chemical differences between the antigens, because of which it helps in distinguish one foreign pathogen from the other. Also, you can discriminate between self and non-self molecules. Based on this, there is an appropriate response that is generated, which is the whole essence of immunology. So this slide is a photo of Joseph Mister being administering the pathogen or the vaccine in a attenuated form by Louis Pasteur, and this photo is a reminder of how these scientists which I have named to the right have contributed immensely in the field of immunology. These are a few names, of course there are many more. So there are different kinds of substances or different kinds of entities that play a very important role in immunology, such as temperature, pH, various molecules. Now again, what is immune system? So immune system is a system which deals with immunity, and immunity, the meaning of the word immunity is immunis, or to exempt, or removal of any kind of pathogen, or protecting one's own body against them. So what is the immune system? It is a collection of mechanisms within the organism that protects the organism from diseases and identifies the organism and kills them in a very specific manner. So the pathogens are not only of one type, there are several pathogens, so the immune system should be able to detect all the agents from viruses, parasitic worms, bacteria, all sorts of pathogens, and also distinguish between self and non-self. The detection is complicated as the pathogens always evolve newer strategies, which we will be seeing in the further units to come, to invade our immune system and use us as hosts. So now, what is the definition of immunity? Immunity is nothing but the state of having sufficient biological defense to avoid infectious diseases or any unwanted biological invasion that is related to all the functions of immune system. Okay, now the types of immunity are of two types, basically innate immunity and adaptive immunity. Innate immunity is the non-specific component which acts as a barrier or eliminates pathogens to stop the infection by microorganisms before they can cause a disease. Innate immunity is also called as inborn immunity, and the second type of immunity is adaptive immunity. The adaptive immunity is the components of the immune system that adapt themselves to newer diseases as one encounters the pathogen in one's life. So every new pathogen detected will have its own way of getting the immune system. So that's why it is called as adaptive, because the body adapts, the immune system adapts to the pathogen and gives us sufficient and the correct kind of response. Now, the innate system is a system of immunity, or it's included in immunology, which is present right from birth of the child, and this is a short-lived immune response. And the adaptive immunity, on the other hand, is a very effective immunity which arises only after the infection, not from birth, and it stays for the life. Okay, now in innate immunity, as I said, that this occurs right from birth. The innate immunity components are the cells and the different kind of mechanism that protects the organism in a non-specific manner. I told you it's a non-specific system which is there with the individual right from birth. So the cells of the innate immunity recognize and respond to pathogens in a very generic way, but it does not confer a long-lasting immunity. The innate immune system provides immediate defense system against the infection and are present not only in human beings but also in plants and other animals. The immune system has lines of defense, and these lines are nothing but the barriers. There are 4 types of barriers, which are anatomical, physiological, phagocytic, as well as inflammatory. Whereas the adaptive immunity is a very specific immunity. That means the response to a bacterial infection will be very different from the response to a viral infection. Okay, so they are divided into 2 types: natural, which is called an immunity right from birth, immunity which develops from the disease causing agent when the contact is not deliberate, and artificial immunity is by deliberate actions. And the second type is the passive immunity, which is a short lived immunity, only lasts for few months, and this is less active, as the name suggests, than the active immunity, which lasts for much longer, sometimes even lifelong. So this is a short summary of what I have been saying. So immunity is divided into 2, adaptive and innate. The adaptive is divided into 2, natural and artificial, and then we'll discuss what exactly are the types. This is a table which I have taken from QB, Janice and QB book, which involves a short description of the different kinds of mechanisms which helps the body fight the different diseases via the skin, the mucous membrane, which are the anatomical barriers, whereas the physiological barriers include temperature, low pH, the chemical mediators, and phagocytic barriers include phagocytes, macrophages. Inflammatory barrier includes vasodilation and histamines that helps one get protected against the different antigens. Okay, so now we move on to anatomical barriers. Yes, the skin is the largest organ of the body, which helps as the first line of defense against the invading pathogen. So removal of the squamous epithelium of the skin helps in removal of bacteria, which occurs by a natural process of shedding, skin shedding. And also there are cilia on the skin, which helps in getting rid of all the pathogens and keeps us free from any kind of microorganisms. The flushing action of tears, and the cilia is present in the gastrointestinal tract. Okay, the flushing action of tears and saliva, which have lysozyme, helps in protecting the sensitive areas of the eyes and the mouth against any pathogen which may enter naturally inside. The trapping of mucus that lines the respiratory tract and gastrointestinal tract helps in protecting the lungs and the digestive system. So the mucus is also very important immune component. The fatty acids in sweat inhibits the growth of bacteria. Also, lysozyme and phospholipase found in tears and saliva and nasal secretions break down the cell wall of the bacteria and destabilize the membrane to get rid of these all these bacterial pathogens. Now, physiological barriers are all the physical parameters such as temperature, pH, soluble factors, compounds like lysozyme, interferons, complement, and propyridine. Okay, so we'll discuss few of these. And chickens have innate immunity to anthrax because of a higher body temperature. So this you know, because when you have a fever, automatically your temperature increases, which is a natural response or is a physiological response to a pathogen inside your body. So elevated temperatures helps take care of the disease. Okay, they help in eliminating the pathogens, whereas there is only a certain temperature that can be tolerated by our body, beyond which the person won't be able to take this higher temperature, that is 37 degrees centigrade. Now lysozymes are the enzymes that damages bacterial cell wall and cleaves the peptidoglycan layer of the bacteria. It's abundant in secretions such as tears, saliva, and mucus. Okay, they are present in the polymorphonuclear granules, which are called as PMN. Okay, they can also be found in egg whites, and many of the scientists have isolated these from the egg whites, and the most common is tears. Okay, that's the pure natural form of obtaining lysozymes. Now interferons are proteins produced by the cells of the immune system. Most vertebrates have these interferons present, and they help in protecting the body against viral infection. They belong to a larger class of glycoproteins known as cytokines. Now complement system is a very intricate and a very systematic system which is composes of serum proteins that circulate in an inactive state. They offer so many specific non-specific mechanisms that converts the inactive complements into active complement systems, which finally forms the membrane attack complex, which then takes care of the pathogen, okay, and facilitates their clearance. This is a photograph of how a bacterial infection is taken care of by formation of a phagolysosome. So what happens is, the green color what you can see is a bacteria. Now when this bacteria attaches to the membrane, invagination is called as pseudopodia. They are taken in or they are ingested to form a phagosome. Once the phagosome meets the lysosome, there is a formation of a phagolysosome, and the lysosome have many enzymatic components inside them which digest the material of the bacteria, and whatever digested products are formed are finally released out of the cell. Okay, so this is what I said. It's another diagrammatic representation which is stepwise manner by numbers. Now inflammatory barriers. So this is a photo also taken from the book which I said, Immunology by Janus Kuby. So here this is a photograph of something inserting the skin. Okay, when we get a wound, or when something punches our skin, when something pricks the skin, so there's a natural response that is formed, that is based on the inflammatory barriers. So these are the various steps that are present. Okay, so there's any tissue damage by any wound or invading pathogen obviously enters through the tissue damage inside the skin, and then there is a sequence of events that take place, and there are 4 components, that is pain, which is also called as dolor, redness, rubor, heat, calor, and swelling, tumor. Okay, so these are the components of the inflammatory response. Then there's vasodilation, which is nothing but there's an increase in the internal diameter of the blood vessels. This takes place when there is an increase in blood flow, but there's a decrease in the vascular resistance. Then there is a component which I had mentioned before called as histamines, which is a chemical released in response to the different injuries that takes place in the body. Once these histamines binds to the receptor on the nearby capillaries, they cause a vasodilation and help in increase in permeability. The enzymes which help in blood clotting, they enter the tissue, they clot the blood, thereby they prevent the spreading of the pathogen via the blood to other areas, and therefore they prevent the infection. Now we move on to adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity is also called as acquired immunity, and this adaptive immunity is resulting because of exposure to various diseases. So this helps the individual constantly cope up with all the different diseases that one encounters, and it is also induced via vaccination. So the whole system is by active immunity, wherein antibodies are produced against the antigen. Okay, the active immunity is permanent till the person is alive, and the individual is protected from diseases via the B and the T cells, which are the two types of cell, the B cells and the T cells. They are activated by pathogen via memory, and this memory is the agent that helps remember the disease causing antigens and therefore elicits the appropriate immune response. Okay. Now there are two types of active immunity. One is natural and the second is artificial. Natural active immunity is when a person is exposed to a live pathogen and develops a primary response which leads to immunological memory, so that when this person is encountered with the pathogen for the second time, the body recognizes that antigen and then delivers an appropriate response against it. Now, artificial acquired immunity is induced by any vaccine that contains the antigen, maybe in a heat or a live attenuated vaccine. So this stimulates the response without actually causing the symptoms of the disease. There are 4 types of vaccines. We'll go quickly through this because we'll be studying vaccines more in detail. So there are inactivated vaccines, live attenuated vaccines, toxoids, and subunit vaccines. So as I said, we'll go through this again when we discuss about vaccines. So for now, we need to know what is passive immunity. So we studied the active immunity, and now we're studying passive immunity. Passive immunity is a transfer of immunity, which is active immunity, in the form of ready-made antibodies from a healthy person to a person requiring these antibodies. So it also occurs through the passing of the antibodies through maternal transfer via the placenta when the individual is in the fetal form, and also via colostrum, that is the first milk of the mother. So these are antibodies that are passed on. Okay. So immunoglobulin G is the antibody that is passed to the placenta, and the antibody or the immunoglobulin IgA is the one which is transferred from the maternal milk, which protects the newborn baby against infections. Okay, artificially acquired passive immunity is a short-term immunity that involves transfer of antibodies. Okay, and this is via intravenous or intramuscular. Okay, now the hyperimmune serum of animal, which here we have taken the example of horses, is one of the oldest method wherein active immunization of animals was done to obtain, suppose in case of tetanus, so the tetanus anti-tetanus serum is obtained first. When the tetanus serum is repeatedly injected into the horse, so the horse develops antibodies against this tetanus antigen, and the horse antibodies are then taken and collected to gain passive immunity. In then it is injected into susceptible individuals. Okay, so this may show some hypersensitive reactions. Okay, and this may be there required for immunodeficient people or people whose immunity is compromised. So I am done with explaining what is immunity, what are the types, and then further what is included in those types. And I hope that this lecture has given you some insight and some introduction to the big broad subject of immunology. So I will be posting some more videos. I hope you like it, and I wish you that you study and prepare yourselves well before the exams. Okay, thank you.